What's going on, everyone? Nick from Comic Culture here. It's time for Nick at Night, my weekly comic book review show. Let's get into the books I read this week. Starting over in DC, we have Absolute Wonder Woman issue number 13. I really enjoyed this issue. The entire time throughout this whole series, we know that the dark energy, the dark magic that Diana taps into comes with a price. We've heard that many different times. Now, we thought we knew at the time what that price was. It was like an immediate payoff, right? So we have these moments where she has to sacrifice something, sacrificing her arm. She has to bring a lot of ingredients together. Some kind of physical, mental, spiritual toll is taken whenever she is bringing about this dark magic. This takes it a lot further than that. There's actually this dark entity that's roaming the world, causing all this destruction. Her and her allies, Diana's allies, are trying to map out exactly like why these specific places, what is this dark energy that is destroying everything. We have some really great revelations throughout the issue. I think the creative team did a great job of portraying this. We have Bargera on the art, which is insane. I love that artist so much. We have Jordi Belair still on the colors here. I really like the direction these little one-off stories are taking us. This is probably going to be a couple of issue arc, but I think it's important for the evolution of the character to explore these kinds of things because, again, what's really compelling about this Diana, this absolute Diana, is the fact that she was raised where she was by who she was raised by and the dark energy around her and how she can utilize that. So that's the most compelling part, I think, about this character. It's a great absolute twist, and we're learning what the price is that she pays for tapping into this energy source. Great creative team on the art as well. Like I said, love that switch. It's only going to last for a couple of issues. Probably we'll get back into the swing of things, but I like this one a lot. What'd you guys think? Let's go over to Marvel next. We have Predator Kills the Marvel Universe issue number 3. I really enjoying this series a lot. We have Benjamin Percy on this one. I just like the idea of Kraven leading this army of predators down to Earth and systematically destroying everything. Now, every issue is going to be basically focusing on a new set of heroes and the creative ways they're going to dispatch them. And they're going to be easier than we think it would be to take out these heroes. But it's just kind of fun to see all that kind of stuff. And we get to see a little bit of the rebellion against this movement towards the end of this book. We don't know what it's going to amount to, but it's still cool to see how that's going to start here in the issue. In the previous issues, we saw them initially take on the Fantastic Four and some other heroes. We got to see them going towards the X Mansion, taking out Professor X and Magneto. We get to see the conclusion of that part, which I thought was cool. The other part here is we're taking on the Hulk, and Wolverine is introduced in the book as well. We get to, like I said before, see how the rebellion is going to start pushing against this movement. It's starting to hit people's radars, and they're trying to figure out what to do against this. I love all that inner monologue Kraven has when he's talking about his place in the Predator culture. So I think that continues to be really strong. That's the best part as far as I'm concerned, along with some of the gore. I think issue 1 was the most goriest. Issue 2 and 3 toned it down a little bit. Maybe there's a red band I'm not aware of or something like that, but I want to see that cranked up to 11. I think that would be spectacular if they did that. This is just a really fun book to read. I'm liking this one a lot. I love Kraven being at the helm of this Predator army and watching them systematically destroy stuff. Issue number 3 is out. Let me know if you read it. Dennis Camp and Phil Noto on the Ultimates issue number 17. Now, this issue is very, very heavy. There's a lot of cool things happening here, a lot of revelations inside this book about Reed Richards' Doom character, how he was basically brainwashed and destroyed by the Maker systematically. He was literally doing psychological rewiring and physical removal of parts of his brain to alter what kind of a person he's going to be. This Doom, this Reed Richards talking with Tony Stark, there's a lot of moments inside the book. There's a lot of aha moments, a lot of things that are going to be impacting this character going forward in his spot on the team. So a lot of jumping around, a lot of crazy moments, a lot of flashbacks, a lot of contemplating about what could be and the lengths he's gone to so far to achieve those. So it was very heavy from that point of view. I will say, normally I enjoy Phil Noto's work, but in this book, I feel like it was a little bit rushed. I would have really appreciated some kind of a different stylized way of showing some of the flashbacks or some of the other moments besides the present day conversation with Tony. Big missed opportunity there, I think. There were moments where he's on a screen watching some stuff, but there's a lot of flashbacks, a lot of interesting things. Now, there was a really great creative decision to have these white silhouettes around him. I'm not going to say much more about that, but I really like that element there because it almost represents like a removal of part of his memory, but there's this lingering something still there. I really enjoyed that. So Ultimates issue number 17, very Doom focused, very Reed Richards focused. Looking back on his past, something is missing. What is at blame right here, right? How do we prepare for the Maker in the meantime? Love that issue. Very heavy. Let me know if you read it. Ultimate Spider-Man number 22 is out. We have Kaketto back on the art here. We know we flip around a lot between, I think it's Medina on some of the more talking head types of pages. We have Kaketto back here, which kind of clued me in that we're going to have some kind of spectacular, insane issue. But a lot of talking head, some bits of action inside of here. Of course, we have our Venomized son running around town right now, doing some stuff behind the scenes, teaming up with Black Cat, talking with Otto about some, infiltration of like the Kingpin's tower, trying to disrupt some of those operations in there. And of course, we also have Peter and we have Harry teaming back up and doing some stuff against the Bullseye crew. But basically, this is a big touch base issue 3 months after the events of the previous issue. Like, how are we living right now? We've actually gone underground, teaming up with some unlikely villains/allies in here, where they have a very common goal and interest at the moment. And so that was kind of cool to see all that play out. But man, Kaketto's art continues to be just spectacular. Every time he touches this book, I am drawn completely in. Regardless of if it's, full of action or talking head or it's setting up some other things, I really enjoy that approach to the art. What I'm really excited for is that last page turn. We get this culmination type of a character we thought was down and out because of the events of the previous issue, but something has changed. That character is very much alive in some kind of a form. So it's going to be fun to see how that plays out, how it impacts the story. And I think I mentioned this before. This is taking place 3 months after the events of the previous issue. So we're well into like the winter time. What does that mean for the overall timeline for the maker? I don't think it actually says December on here. So we're approaching that pretty quickly. We know there's not a whole lot of runway left in this series. Maybe they're trying to like push things forward pretty quick. Not entirely sure, but had a good time with this one. Kaketto's back on there, had some spurts of action, but the overall theme and the overall look of the book is great. Let me know if you read it. All right, let's jump into the indie books. From IDW, we have TMNT issue number 12. Jason Aaron on this one. We have Juan Ferreira. This is the last book for this creative team before we switch things up on issue number 13. So this issue is putting to bed everything that we've been building up for the past 12 issues. We have this mayor that has gone rogue. He's mutated into a giant monster, terrorizing the city. Our turtles have to team up and finally become that brother unit they've been trying to become for the last dozen issues to take on that threat. We have another thread over here with Splinter and like the spirit of that. What the heck was all that about? We finalized that a little bit too. We get to see who's running the Foot Clan right now, and we get to see what their intentions are and what kind of evil power they're drawing. Ferreira's art is awesome. Every time that person's on this book, it is spectacular. Lots of great fighting scenes, perspectives, the colors are great. So really, this is the bookend of this creative team's run on here. So it's going to set the stage for a nice clean slate for the new team to jump on. And honestly, I kind of want Aaron to finish this right here. I want him to go another 12, 24 issues to see like what an average non-rebuilding of the team book feels like from Jason Aaron. I feel like that's the space I want him in, with unlimited possibility, not this narrow runway of trying to get the team back together as the ultimate goal. I want to see what the day-to-day stuff looks like and what a couple of arcs and different villains would look like from this creative team right here. So I feel like they almost did this in reverse. I would rather prefer a lesser known team to bring everybody back together, and then I want a more established great team to just kind of run wild and continue the ongoing series. So that's my only gripe right there. Issue number 12 wraps things up. Let me know how you enjoyed it. All right, let's jump over to Mad Cave. We have Speed Racers Tales from the Road issue number 1, sort of a one-shot from Mark Landon. We have David Papose, of course, part of this, and we have Sebastian Perez. I think I'm pronouncing that right, P-I-R-I-Z. This is a great story. We have 2 different books right here. The first one from Mark, the second one from David. Mark takes a big shot over at the Racer X character. Some of the people he's in collaboration with, this like agency that he's with, going after some high-profile people that have, done some bad stuff in the past. So it's a giant chase issue. He's running around the town or driving around town, avoiding things, taking out some bad guy fodder, and trying to prevent this king or this whatever from basically going on the run. It's all about getting into the headspace of Racer X and showing you what kind of a character he is, how resourceful he is, how great of a driver he is, all the gadgets that he has on hand, and like the mechanics of the car, right? There's a lot of great Easter eggs for car driving and things like that, shifting gears, doing some crazy turns and whatnot. The visuals are amazing. The colors are great in here. So if you want a good book that talks about Racer X, like his inside thoughts and how he operates and some of the people that he's working with and how capable he is, that first story from Mark will do just that. David does do the back matter in this book. It's a much more playful, a little bit shorter of a story, but it's very charming at the same time. So it's a great little cleanser at the end. It makes you smile, and it makes you just excited in general for this universe. I really like that they're expanding this, bringing some new creators on, giving you different points of view and giving you some more context to these characters. I think it's a really smart move. So if you've been enjoying Speed Racer and Racer X, Tales from the Road is just the next step you need to take. This is an amazing book. Highly recommend it. Let me know if you read it. Next up from Mad Cave, It Killed Everyone But Me, issue number 2. The book that I said, this is what Something Is Killing Children should be. It does continue in here, but I feel like the presence of Something's Killing Children almost hurts this book because they are so similar. That's not to say that this book doesn't have its own unique qualities to it, but it feels very much the same. It's almost like a spin-off of sorts. We have this adult female character who's very capable, knows everything about this demonic presence that really nobody else can see or deal with or knows about, and she's having to re-examine those demons, right? Having to bring out the demon that basically destroyed her lives and killed all of her friends, because that demon knows about how this all works, right? And she's part of this investigation and trying to use that knowledge of her past and what this demon can give her to help figure out and prevent future death. So it's very much the same as Something's Killing Children from that regard. With that said, instead of monsters, we're talking about demons here, and there's a lot of variety in these demons. There's a lot of different motives and ways that they handle business. So that horror element is what really separates the two different stories. And I'm really liking the difference of all those. And it really feels like there's high stakes, and I'm fearful for the people that are in captive right now. And it's a really cool relationship between our main character and this demon. They have a long history with each other. There's some rules to engagement that we explore inside here, and we're going to be seeing if that ends up paying off in the long run and what kind of trouble we can get into later. So if you're a fan of Something's Killing Children, check out It Killed Everyone But Me. It's very much the same kind of story, but there's some very unique elements inside this one, both in the same vein though. Let me know if you're reading it and if you're enjoying it. Next up from Dynamite, we have Space Ghost issue number 4. David Papeau's on this one, of course, and we have Jonathan Lau on the art. This is your Kree-Skrull war happening inside the issue. Loved it. A little bit of a deviation from our main arc. It's going to be a great story. I love the high stakes in here. We have the Crystalline Emperor of Glassdoor, and we have the Kingdom of the Space Sharks finally coming together to form some kind of a peace treaty. Space Ghost is attending this big ceremony. Of course, we have Jace and Jan in the rafters, in the wings, making sure that everything goes off without a hitch. We have this, again, these two warring factions that have been at each other's throats forever coming together here. Inevitably, something happens to try to stop this peacemaking deal and sends everybody into a panic. And we're basically having to pick up the pieces and clean up everything before things get out of hand inside here. I'm really enjoying how they're able to execute effectively as a team. Like, everybody has their purpose, you know? Space Ghost is going to take on threats head on. We're going to investigate who the sniper is or who the person that's trying to break up this peace treaty is in here. We have people flying around doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Lots of action happening, but I really like how the team is coming together, and they're very effective at what they do at this point. They've been doing a lot of things, taking on a lot of missions, a lot of different threats. Everybody has their place, has their voice. Really cool to see that dividing of work happening in here. So again, it further builds on that whole teamwork aspect that I love inside of Space Ghost. And of course, it wouldn't be Space Ghost without a lot of high stakes and just pure raw drama throughout the entire issue. Loving everything I'm seeing in Space Ghost right now. It's a must read. Let me know if you are. Let's jump over to Ahoy Comics. We have Thanksgiving from Mark Russell. Now, I try pretty much everything from Mark Russell. He's one of my favorite writers out there. This book is all about the family getting together during Thanksgiving and all the chaos that can ensue, all the political distance between people, all the snarky comments, all the indifferent folks, all the people that are trying to show how crazy everything is. It's all those different personalities coming together right here. But this particular family has a deep, deep, dark secret. I believe it's the uncle character has that. He's a game show host. He's a very famous person, but he has a very dark side that we explore inside the issue. And we also get to see how the different family members react to that when they're given this weird ultimatum or this question that he's going to ask them. So it is a story about the family getting together at this time of year and how different their lives are and their perspectives on just about everything, and what happens when one of them comes to the table with a very deep, dark secret, and how the family reacts to all of that. So if you're into those kinds of things, I think you'll enjoy this book. It does have a lot of great commentary from Mark Russell in general about, you know, just our culture and how that kind of a situation plays out. If you're into that thing, check this one out. Thanksgiving number 1, Ahoy Comics. Let me know if you read it. All right, let's wrap things up over in Image. We have Rick Remender and Daniel Acuna on Escape issue number 3. Loved this series so far. Number 1 was my pick of the month when it came out. Number 2 was a great step back on our Milton character, how he got into service, and maybe his relationships and his wife and what he has waiting for him at home. Basically the drive for everything that he's doing inside of there. Their mission was failed. Their bombers went down. Now he's on the run right now in the city that he helped destroy a couple of issues ago. This is the big escape, pun intended, issue right here, where he's having to sneak behind enemy lines, skillfully take out any kind of threats that are sneaking up on him, go on the run. He suffers impossible wounds at the same time, but this issue is non-freaking stop. Just encounter after encounter, barely getting away, losing a little bit more of himself throughout the entire process, but just the artistic style from Acuna, the coloring inside of here, the whiplash, the speed lines, the chaos that you endure throughout the entire issue will make you feel like, again, you're on that bike, you're on the run. You can hear the bullets whizzing by you. You can feel the heat from the explosions. This is an amazing book. I love this escape issue. Issue number 3, let me know if you read it. Next up, we have Robert Kirkman and David Finch on Skinbreaker issue number 2. This book got a lot of good press. It's got an amazing creative team on it. David Finch on the art is incredible. I think Leone is on the colors, and we have Mutant on here as well. So we have a great overall creative team. So it's a very simple story so far. We basically have this tribe that's going around. We have this elder chieftain right now who's a little bit too old to do his physical duties, but he has a lot of tribal wisdom still to pass down. His son wants to eventually take over as chief, but they have this ritual in their clan where the chief can basically be challenged to a battle by death, kind of like a Black Panther kind of a situation, and whoever defeats the chief at the time becomes the chief. And of course, we have this real rugged other guy that we're having in here. He's our antagonist, essentially, and he is challenging the chief. So there's a little bit of a battle going on between those two and how they want to push their tribe forward in the future. So really, we have this giant power struggle between these two characters. They both want to challenge their chief for different reasons. One, to continue the current traditions and standards and have the chief die with some dignity, and the other one wants to take over and be more of a ruler of this clan. So there's really a simple story going on in here, but what really makes it complex is just this art style, man. It just brings you right in. There's so much detail, so much line work, so many lines, and so much great coloring inside of here. It really draws you in, but the story is very simple so far. So I really do hope that they make that a little bit more complex from a story point of view. I guess it doesn't really need to be if this is a more simple culture in general, and the motives are pretty understandable. I think it makes sense to do that, but I think it's very, very fantastic from the art perspective and very okay from the story perspective so far, although relatable as it might be. But now that we're 2 issues into Skinbreaker, let me know what you guys are thinking about the overall story. Of course, the artwork is great. Let me know if you're getting those treasury editions too. I skipped out on issue number 2. I got number 1. I'm going to hold out for that black and white, larger artisan edition if they ever do that kind of a thing. I hope they do that at some point. Let me know what you think about Skinbreaker number 2 down below. Simon Kodransky over on No Man's Land issue number 2, One Man Art, bringing another fantastic issue. Now, we thought we knew exactly what was happening inside the previous issue. We had our expectations of how this story was going to go with this murder mystery happening in the Bering Strait kind of an area. We have our FBI director being flown in. He's basically on his own, having to deal with this situation, having to kind of play double agent at the same time. And he meets his allies from the opposing side and some of the townsfolk, and he's really kind of pushing his weight around at the moment, trying to resolve this murder case that's going on. What was a great addition to this, though, was the introduction to some of the local lore and some of the other people inside the city. They've seen some weird stuff over the years, and so they're trying to put that knowledge out there. Maybe it's going to help solve the case. So we head in that direction. There's this weird monstrous element or this supernatural element we're going to be exploring. I just cannot wait to see the conclusion of that. I love that mixture of theme between more grounded real world stuff, but a little bit of a supernatural element. It gives you goosebumps when you read the book. And we all know Simon Kodransky at this point. The visuals are very cinematic. I love the perspectives, the facial features, the looks, the glances, the environment, the coloring. Just the overall vibe is just phenomenal inside the entire story. Love to see where this book is going. I love the direction it's heading in so far. Issue number 2 is out. Let me know if you read it. We're going to wrap things up with Universal Monster Invisible Man issue number 3. We have James Tynion, Danny, and Brad Simpson on this one. Perhaps top 5 cover of the year. Love this cover, and it plays directly into the story, which you don't always see nowadays or forever in comics. opening splash pages just showing Jack in his lab messing around with stuff. I love all the foreshadowing that we're going to see, obviously, as this issue goes forward. We have these nightmarish inner monologues or inner dreams as Jack is dealing with some of his people around him, like his girlfriend and his coworkers and whatnot. He's having regular conversations, but we have a different color palette for what he wants to do to him, you know, just taking him out. And I love that slow decline that we see inside of him fantasizing about being an invisible man in different environments and the things he can get away with, the secrets he can learn about people, and how he can use those secrets to his own gain. But the big shocking moment in here comes when he starts experimenting on actual people, some lost people on the streets, and all the different outcomes of those experiments. As he gets closer and closer to perfecting this invisible formula, that's the real shocking part inside this book. And this cover becomes reality inside the pages. And I just cannot believe what I'm reading inside here. I don't think I have to tell you that Danny is one of my favorite artists of all time. The artistic approach inside here is beautiful. She does a great job with negative space. This kind of character feels like just a natural thing for her, and I love to see the execution of all that. Brad's doing a great job as well on the book, and Becca Carey on the lettering. Again, just phenomenal package. Great creative team. Love the perspective of the character. I like this take on this character in general and the Universal Monster lore. It's just a complete package. Love this issue. Let me know if you read it. All right, guys, that's what I read this week. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you read and what your favorite books of the week were down below. While you're down there, like, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification to be alerted whenever I put out new videos. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the comments.